Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello everyone, and welcome to Formula Elite Racing for our realistic tier here at Austria. And what a race we have in prospect, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be a great race, the 5th round of our realistic championship here. Attendance has not been the greatest this week, but with it being a circuit like Austria, I'm sure we can make up for that, you know. Austria is a circuit that by nature creates a lot of exciting moments and a lot more overtakes than your average circuit. As apologies if my commentary today is not going to be as fantastic as it ordinarily would, if fantastic is the word you want to use. I am just coming out of the end of that flu, the flu that went round over the Christmas period. I caught it just over a week ago. Excuse me, and I'm just coming out of the other side of it, so I feel okay, but you know, I still don't feel fantastic, if you know what I mean. But if you're going to get the flu at any time, I mean, in terms of league racing and commentary, it's during the Christmas period. Luckily, I was able to enjoy Christmas pretty much as normal before this flu came in. So yeah, if there was any time to get it, it would be when there was a break in all league racing, which of course is this couple of week period that I aforementioned as now. Here we go, on board. Excuse me, with SMGX Viper, as into turn 1 he goes down to 4th gear, taking a little bit of curb, making sure to stay off the outside line there, and now down to the first sector split. He goes 15.9, braking all the way down now to 3rd gear, nipping in 2nd gear even. 3rd sometimes offers better traction to some people, as that was quite the voice crack, getting very close to the Williams on his right hand side. As now you're braking, spotting your braking point, down to 3rd gear, kick your front 2 wheels over that curb there, as now you want to get as close to the right hand side as you can to really get the full rotation. You need as much grip through this section as you can get. Double left-hander, almost flat out, and as you can see there, SMG Viper really struggling. His car just did not want to cooperate with him through there. As now again a double right-hander here, down to 5th gear he goes, and now flat out to the line. His time, the benchmark is going to be a 105.098. Of course, this is realistic tier, so I think a 105.0 is a pretty decent time for an Alpine as Inferno Trap. Set to 105.126 there. Now on board with Elite Silver in that Red Bull. One of the better cars in the group. We only have one McLaren here today, which is of course the best car in this game, closely followed by Red Bull. Then it is Mercedes, then it's Ferrari, I believe. And that is a 105.8. 105.2 from Entok, 105.4 from Sean, and now here's Jens. The other of the 2 Red Bulls now starting a lap here, 22.0. So he is not pushing, so let's go on board with Millwall Tyler, as I think something fishy is going on. It's telling me the stream has ended, but I very much have not ended the stream. Okay, it is not. Okay, good. Yeah, it said on my phone that the stream had ended. Really weird. Is it lagging for you, Hugo? Or is it just my end? Is the stream lagging, or is it just my end? My Wi-Fi not appreciating it today? Good, right, okay, perfect then. Perfect. So now up to the line comes Millwall Tyler. Up to the line, 104.583. That is the fastest time by just over 4/10 of a second. Vagos holding the second fastest, and I mean a 104.9 in a realistic Williams is nothing to sniff at, to say the least. As Fizzy out on inters at the moment. So here we go, on board with Power Twan. Up to the line he comes, 105.250. 5th place for the Ferrari as of now. Now on board with Jens, pushing on this lap here compared to his previous attempt, which was just a preparatory lap. 45.138 there. I believe he's a little bit up on Elite Silver. His teammate, of course, is now round the final 2 corners. He will go. Red Bull's home Grand Prix on a technicality, up to the line, 105.0, up to 3rd place. He goes and comfortably clears his teammate. He's now on board with SMG Vortex then, who is on an outlap. Is SMG Viper? Yes, he is. He's now starting an official push lap. Let's see what he can do on his second run. Currently just over half a second off of pole position, and I actually wasn't able to see what he did there. I can't lie to you, I wasn't paying attention to the top right, but it looked pretty handy from what I saw, and he's still using his ERS, so I'm gonna presume he is up on time at the moment. Now this left-hander did one of the most awkward corners in Formula 1 in my opinion. As I note, he is 4/10 down, so he will be into the pit lane rather soon, I would imagine. Yeah, here you go. He now peels in, and that will be the end of that there for him. Now moving down to SMG Vortex, then 16.0 for the first sector. I believe that is about a 10.5 off of the best we have seen in this session, potentially. Off the track he goes. That is going to have scrubbed a lot of lap time for the RB there. As it stands, the second Red Bull team on the grid is struggling quite badly. SMG Vortex invalidates his lap on the final corner. It was a 105.4, which would have only been 8th place. What about his teammate Fizzy, who is putting in a 15.972 in the first sector? That is not a bad sector time, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's crazy how times at Austria have changed in the last sort of 18 months. I mean, at the start of F1 24, the world record was a 102 dead or something. I mean, I was on a 102.8 at the start of F1 24. And then F1, then they did the leaderboard reset, changed a few things, and the times were never quite as quick. And then we went to 25, and the times were even slower than they are now in time trials. Now up to the line comes Fizzy, 104.6 in an RB. That is very, very impressive stuff from the Racing Bulls car there, as now SMG Vortex peels into the pit lane. As Millwall Tyler with a 104.381 extends his margin even further, as now Inferno Trap with a 104.8 Into third place he goes. What about Vagos? Powered Swan puts in a 104.3 in the Ferrari there. A 1-2 for the Scuderia at the moment. As, ow, I just bit my tongue. That hurt. I've never done that in a commentary, and I never want to do that again because that hurt. Anyway, moving on. Vagos was about 3/4 of a tenth up in the first sector. Gains like that will maybe move him up one position, but nothing more if he keeps doing that for the next 2 sectors. That is, of course. And he's down by 1/10 of a second now, nearly. He's now round the final 2 corners. He comes and will peel into the pit lane. He's not going to go any further on this trip on the track. Oh, that was a double line right there. Now here comes Jens McKelvey to start his next lap of the session. Okay then, moving away to SMG Vortex, who is invalidated, so moving to Powerton, who was going faster still on his lap time, and is still going faster. A 104.1 we could see potentially, or maybe even faster as things stand. As all, no, he is going to peel into the pit lane. What on earth just happened there? I was looking at Twitch chat, trying to see if anything was going on. So now here comes Vindy Gaming, going to start another lap. What about Sean? Is also going to peel into the pit lane. And SMG Vortex has invalidated, so we're now into the waiting phase of the session, really. Most people not out on track. We only have 3 people, including the 2 RBs, plus the Alpine of SMG Viper. We have SMG Viper and SMG Vortex. I'm going to assume SMG is a clan of some kind. I mean, when I think SMG, I think submachine guns. So, like, is it a Siege clan? A Fortnite clan? I don't know. But it's that. If I had to guess, it would be a Siege clan. But, you know. What do I know? He's now then on board with Vortex. 44.904. That is very, very handy. I believe that is knocking on the door of the top 2. I believe Fizzy Gaming was on at 45. About 2 tenths slower than that, I believe Fizzy Gaming was. Now round the final corner comes SMG Vortex up to the line. 104.730. Ends up just over a tenth behind his teammate, the other Scuderia team on the grid, or formerly the other Scuderia team on the grid, find themselves in 3rd and 4th respectively. The top 4 currently dominated by just 2 teams, being once upon a time were both Scuderia teams, of course. Ferrari based in Maranello, and I actually don't know where Faenza. I was about to say I don't know where RB are based, but they're based in Faenza, of course they are. So they're both based in Italy, which is why, of course, they were both called the Scuderia. Once upon a time, is now up to the line, comes SMG Viper, 104.793. Puts himself right behind his fellow SMG friend in Vortex, just over half a tenth slower than him. So now on board then with Entok for his out lap. The McLaren needs a little bit more. I mean, with how close it is, two tenths moves him up to 7th place, and then 3 tenths would move him up to 6th. If he could find half a second, he'd be up to 3rd place. But of course, half a second at such a short lap, sitting at 64 to 65 seconds on average, half a second is not particularly very easy to find on just a singular lap. As now, we will ride on board with Entok for this one then. Or sorry, not ride on board, but we'll keep an eye on him for this lap. Now into turn 1 he goes. That looked pretty nice. Maybe left a little bit of a margin for error through there. It's now up to the first sector split. 2 tenths up. That is very, very good from Entok, the man who is enjoying the McLaren. He has the luxury of a fast car in this game for this race. The question is, can he use the pace of that McLaren to put himself further up the order than that 9th place? So now towards the second sector split he comes. We will find out an answer to that, as he's 3 tenths up at the moment. And well, that half a second I said was very difficult to find. Might not be difficult for the McLaren driver in Entok here. So now round the final 2 corners he goes, using a little bit of curb, swinging out wide, up to the line comes Entok, a 104.5, up to 3rd place. I said if he found half a second, he'd be up to 3rd place, and that is exactly what happens for Entok. That is a very, very strong lap from the McLaren driver. It's now Fizzy finding 2 tenths in the first sector. That is crazy. Still just over 2 tenths up at the moment, and that would be enough to put himself back up into 3rd place. But will it be enough to dethrone potentially Millwall Tyler and maybe even Power Runners? No, he invalidates it and is going to shove it in the wall in the pit lane. I don't really see the point of that. Why did you not just drive into the pit lane, you idiot? Why did he not just drive into the pit lane instead of retiring it? I don't really understand it, but there we are. There's now Inferno Trap. Was a 10th down in the first sector. What about Vagos? Nearly 2 tenths up. So the track has definitely improved because everybody finding a bucket of time in these laps here. There's now 3.5 tenths improvement for Vagos. We'll keep an eye on Power One, who is not pushing. He is not pushing on this lap. Millwall Tyler is still pushing. Was only 2 thousandths off his personal best as Holy Voice Crack. Up to the line comes Vagos. 104.521. But invalidated it, so that will not count. Now here is Millwall Tyler. Was half a tenth up. I think that would just be enough to move himself into pole position if he can keep it. Round the final 2 corners he goes. Scrubbed a little bit of time through there maybe. Up to the line he goes. Is this going to be pole position? Yes it is. A 104.320 pole position by just over a 100th of a second. Very, very close at the top there, and Entok doing very well to grab 3rd place. As we will go through the final running order in just a couple of moments. As there we are, that is the end of qualifying there. Okay then. So Millwall Tyler takes P1. Powerbaton very close in second. Entok doing well to get third. Fizzy Gaming in fourth. SMG Vortex fifth. SMG Viper sixth. Inferno Trap seventh. Vagos eighth. Jens ninth. Sean Castine 10th, followed by Elite Silver in 11th. As now we head into the race. Let's have a quick advert break. I know you're watching Twitch and you all love ad breaks, but here is just a quick word from our sponsor, SRC. And there we are. That was the trailer for our affiliate sim racing setups. Not sponsor, apologies for that one there. Our affiliate. And of course, because we are affiliated with sim racing setups, if you use code FER at checkout, you get 10% off. Which, I mean, everybody loves money off. Absolutely everybody. Nobody is going to say no to a discount on anything. So if you are interested in buying anything from sim racing setups, do use code FER for 10% off, and I believe it also helps support the league as well. I'm not too sure on the details of the affiliation, so I'm not going to go into that deeper side of things, but I know for a fact it will definitely help FER run and operate in the grand scheme of things. Okay then. I don't think we're going to have time for me to pull up the championship standings. Unfortunately, I was very rushed setting this stream up. I was able to get the SRC advert in, but was not able to do much more than that. So can I find realistic standings? Here we are. Okay then. Oh no, we're not even going to have time to do that, as we will go to 5 red lights. We are racing here in Austria. It's a good start from Millwall Tyler, who comes across immediately to cover off his teammate, as now Entok has a little look round the outside of the second Ferrari of Power to One. Goes off track in the process. Is going to have to drop back, surely, in order to not get an illegal overtake, as now Fizzy Gaming look to go down the inside on the McLaren, and is going to do so. Will he get third place as the Ferrari goes off track there? Power to One, I believe it was. And Fizzy Gaming has not quite been able to execute the overtake there. He's going to break that a little bit later, keep it alongside, but Entok will probably get the better traction off the corner and will have the inside line for this next corner. Somebody has to cede. Surely somebody has to give up the position now. They can't keep this dogfight up because they will just keep losing time. Now Fizzy Gaming looks for the switchback, but in the end it is Entok who does come out in front after a fantastic battle between these two. That was some great racing, and that is how you race, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you go side by side, not only in Austria but also in general. Nice, clean, fair, most of all exciting to watch, as the Red Bull of Jens goes off track there. I believe it was Jens that went off track, but I'm not 100% sure. Is now Fizzy down the inside on Entok, as now SMG Viper also looks to capitalise and does so. So Entok losing positions after a very, very good qualifying from himself. He now starts to drop back, as now SMG Vortex also looks to get involved in this as well, and does get past Entok. So Entok has gone from 3rd to 6th in less than half a lap. He has had his pants pulled right down there. And the top two, by the way, two Ferraris, 2 seconds up the road already, 2.1 if you will, in just 2 laps. So these two absolutely flying away at the moment, and nobody seems to be able to catch these two. And pending those safety cars, this will most likely be a battle between the top two for the race winners. Now Powerton takes the lead away from Millwall Tyler. These two being teammates are probably going to be a little bit more lenient with each other until the end of the race, as now Vagos getting past Entok as well, who gets onto the grass, but Jens is too far back to try and capitalise on that. As whoa, Sean goes down the inside, is going to go really wide. Jens will get the switch back, but will be on the outside line for this next corner. He has end plate damage as well, and Sean will take the position, or will he? Because Jens has managed to keep it alongside just about, and Sean does take the position there. Ow, I bit my tongue again. Apologies for the pauses whilst I'm commentating. I'm commentating with a tickle in my throat. I don't know why. I've got a really bad tickle in my throat at the moment. It's only sort of come around in the last sort of 5 minutes since the race began. So I'm fighting the urge to cough every time I speak like that. Now here comes Powerton. So here comes Millwall Tyler down the inside, excuse me, of his teammate for the race lead. God, there's something stuck down my throat. Something tickly. It won't stop. Which is why I keep having to have those pauses. They're not long, but you know, they're a drink break, I suppose. There's now moving. Let's check in on the battle between the two Red Bulls, shall we? And by the way, SMG Viper is actually reeling in the two Ferraris. Maybe them battling away is helping the Alpine to get back towards them in this one here. I think Silver did not get good traction out of that corner there. Not at all. His traction was pretty poor, but now Powerton got really good traction out of that corner there. Millwall Tyler is not going to get close enough. He's not even using ERS here. Maybe some mind games going on between these two. Now, SMG Viper continues to close that gap. Gradually, Fizzy Gaming, we were riding on board with him as he picks up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. As on this lap, we are a 1/6 of the way through this race. Now to Entok we go, who looks to recover from those early laps where he seemed to struggle a little bit in comparison to the others as well. Let's actually take a quick look at tyres, shall we? So everyone except Sean, Elite Silver and Jens is on the medium tyres. SMG Vortex and Fizzy Gaming side by side here. Down the inside goes Fizzy. SMG Vortex briefly took the position away, and Fizzy moved himself up to 4th place. Past his teammate. They're not running the same livery. Fizzy Gaming choosing to run the special Las Vegas livery, I believe. Was that Las Vegas? I actually can't remember where that was. But nonetheless, running the special RB livery they ran the season. As contact between Entok And Vagos, looked like Vagos just had a little bit of a wiggle, which nearly took Entok with him. Lucky that both of them are still standing, to quote Elton John. If you count still standing as quoting Elton John, that is. It's now on board with the battle for the lead. Everything's starting to settle down into a little bit of a stalemate here, it would seem. Now the lap 8 of 36. We head on to, and that's a big lock-up from Powerton, of course. The lock-ups are quite dramatic in this game, but I'm sure he also probably did lock the wheels ever so slightly, but probably not enough to cause that huge puff of smoke that we saw come off of his car. As I said, lock-ups are quite dramatic in F1 25, which is why that happens. It doesn't take much to make a minor lock look big like that. As now SMG Viper into the pits, Powerton into the pits, both of them going for an undercut here. Hard tyres for Powerton, held a little bit by the entrance of, who was it? By SMG Viper. Couldn't think for a minute. But probably won't have lost too much time being held there. As now then, let's have a little look at Elite Silver, who looked for a minute to be having a look at the back of Entok, but nothing doing for him there. After a brilliant qualifying, Entok slowly but surely starting to fall back into his ordinary position, if you will, as now Millwall Tyler does choose to box. Most likely for a set of hard tyres, if I had to guess, which indeed it is. And he is not going to get held. So what is the gap? That was the relationship going to be of him against Powerton coming out of the pit lane. So there goes Powerton. Into the net race lead he goes. And he's going to have a 3-second advantage. The undercut there was incredibly powerful against Millwall Tyler there. So that is going to be something to bear in mind for our other drivers in this race here. Don't get undercut, because it is very darn powerful in this race. As now We will watch and watch with ease the relationship and the gap between Millwall Tyler and Power to One. And is Tyler going to be able to shrink this gap down a little bit? We will have to wait and find out. As now Millwall Tyler setting fastest up almost to state his intent, as now Entok and Power to One have been caught up in some kind of instant, because off goes Entok and Power to One loses a huge chunk of time to his teammate as now he tries to go back down the inside. Millwall Tyler gets a touch on the rear from SMG Viper, who by undercutting has clawed his way back into the fight for the race lead here. As now Vagos overtaking Entok here, who is dropping back and further back as he is missing both end plates, and probably with this will drop out of the points. So now here we go. As he goes to a new front wing and a new set of tires. He's not going to retire it, which is good to see. Now Fizzy Gaming starts lap 14 of 36 in this one here. I have just realised we've been racing without the lap data all of this race, so my apologies for that one there. Jens retires it in the pit lane. So that means because of purely by staying in the race, Entok is guaranteed to earn a point in this one here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you stay in races. Now, okay, so Sean has been slowly but surely catching Fizzy in the last few laps. And well, these two, at least Sean potentially is going to be very, very quick towards the end of the race. He's going to be going hard, then medium. Probably, if I had to guess, that would be Fizzy Gaming. And then Sean could go medium in this race, as he's got his hard stint out of the way. He's done that, been there, done that, so he can now begin to look towards the double medium stints, as now Power to One is right behind these two. So these two now a full pit stop behind the race leader. They're probably actually going to come out dead last, nearly. Probably 8th or 9th. Probably 9th or 10th, 9th at best, I'd say. 8th and 9th, probably. Pamir Sean does choose to bail and pits into the pit lane. And on to another set of hards. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Look how close. Power to one gets to the back there, is now down the inside he goes. That is an optimistic move, to say the least, but he gets it done. Is Millwall Tyler going to try to follow through here? He has a little look, a little think about it, and will be desperate to get through to try and stay with his teammate, and Fizzy Gaming is defending this one, as now he does back off and let Millwall Tyler through as Power to one picks up a 3-second penalty. Millwall Tyler does not yet have one of them, so that swings this race in his favour as it stands. It's now 50 games. Those hard mediums will probably be absolutely done. And with that, he did 16 lap on mediums. Fizzy's going to the end, isn't he? Fizzy's doing a one-stop, so fair play to him. 16 laps on mediums is crazy at this circuit. So absolutely well done for him for pulling it off. As now Fizzy looking very racy in this one here on new tyres. Newest tyres by an absolute distance. Okay then. Millwall Tyler starting to pull away in this one here. Now exactly halfway through this race. And Power to one is clearly struggling more out of these two. As that's a very tight angle, but he takes it nonetheless. He's going to try and switch it back on his teammate, but can't quite pull it off. Now around the outside he goes, which is going to switch to the inside. If he can stay alongside, he does. He uses the RS in order to blast alongside. That's a terrible camera angle, EA. And he does, in the end, take P1 away. Power to one, as now SMG Viper well and truly involved in this battle for the race lead as it stands. As whoops, I accidentally unplugged my headphones as now Sean on a charge up into 5th place here. Now here goes Fizzy up to 7th. As I can tell you, my family's home because my mic has. I suppose when I've got my headphones on that go in my microphone. As well, hang on, we'll put that on pause. Millwall Tyler, right on the inside, gets past Power to on there. But yeah, as I was saying, when I have my headphones on that go in my microphone, the hearing of things around me and in rooms next door is heightened. I can hear it louder than I ordinarily would. Because it's a proper streaming mic, you know, as now. On to Power to 1. When does he make his move on this straight? Or will he leave it for the next one? He's going for it. Down the inside he goes once again. And does pull the move off. Just about. Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle there for Power to 1. Now we're going to watch this from the point of view of SMG Viper. Now in go Power to 1 and SMG Viper. So Power to 1 probably going to be onto another set of hards. He gets a 10-second for speeding in the pits, and that is probably going to put an end to any hope he had of winning the race. Very, very unfortunate, but these things happen. And Power to 1 has been the victim of it today, I think is the best way to put it. And now with that, Sean has plenty of clear track to drive himself into. Sean still has to do another stop in this race, whereas Fizzy doesn't. He can go to the end here. But of course, I mean, Power to 1 is only about 2.5 seconds behind him now, as now Millwall Tyler does bail into the pit lane. Doesn't get a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits, unlike his teammate. As there goes Sean. There goes Fizzy. There goes Vagos. There goes Viper and Power to 1. How far behind is Millwall Tyler going to be? 2.5 seconds. The undercut here is unbelievably good. Like, to a crazy degree, the undercut. As now on board with SMG Viper. Can he make it past Vagos here, who's not going to fight it, lets off his ERS, and that is an easy overtake for the Alpine versus the Williams there. Now Power to 1 sets fastest lap of the race to almost as if to prove the pace he's got in his locker on these tyres. Now here we look at Millwall Tyler, who moves up to 5th place past Vagos doing what his teammate did merely a lap ago. As now 3.8 seconds sounds the gap between Millwall Tyler and between Millwall Tyler and his teammate Powertwan, by the way. So Powertwan in this stint absolutely going for it, pulling no punches in this one. Oh, Powertwan's retired. What on earth? As now he gives his AI comes back on and gives him damage. That is unbelievable. Powertwan retired it on track, and his AI came back on and gave his teammate damage. I'm sure there'll be some heated words said after this one about that. There quite often is in league racing some heated words, and as long as, you know, they're not like at each other's throats, it's not too bad. It's just heat of the moment stuff, as they say. Now Millwall Tyler overtaken by Entok. As now Millwall Tyler comes into the pits once again. And he's going to get back on those hard pull. Yes, he is. That he put on earlier. But I've got to feel very sorry for Millwall Tyler in that one there. Absolutely no fault of his own there. And now finds himself down in 9th place because of misfortune. But now can Sean and Fizzy potentially take the fight to SMG Viper? And Sean has had a banger of a race, up 8 positions. That's a big snap. Can he take the fight to SMG Viper here and win the race? It'll be from 10th place, so second to last. As Entok has left the session, Elite Silver gets a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Entok has left. I will try and get him back in very quickly if he's online. Can the game work? Okay, no, it's not going to work. But that was Fizzy Gaming getting past Sean. And I'm not too sure if that's going to have any impact on the race. Because now SMG Viper is out of DRS. And Fizzy picks up another penalty, almost affirming what I was about to say. That there is no, you know, as it stands, there'll be no position change from, or Fizzy won't keep that second place, I should say. Which now we know for a fact he will not. And is in danger, actually, of dropping down to 4th because of that. SMG Vortex is only lurking about 3.5 seconds back, so one mistake and Fizzy Gaming will be down to 4th because of those bends. Okay, then now Sean comes into the pits. I forgot Sean had to come in once again for a new set of tyres. It's probably... Is it going to be softs or mediums? It is going to be mediums for Sean in this one here. Probably could have gone for balanced and gone hard, medium, medium. I mean, he took the hard 16 laps, so then he could have done 2 10-lap stints. Or 1-8, 1-12, depending on, you know, his tyres, because mediums would have done 8 laps, 12, 10 laps, and then in the final stint they probably would have done 12. I'm pretty sure I've done 14 on the mediums in the final stint. I'm not particularly very good on the tyres in this game, but that is because I do not race anymore. I have not raced since July. Nowadays, I am literally just a commentator. That is all I am nowadays. As I just have to check I was still streaming, which I am. As that Millwall Tyler getting past Elite Silver up to 7th place, so getting himself a few more points in this one here. As my Wi-Fi is being very dodgy, I was going to try and invite Entok back, but it will not work. As now SMG Viper has well and truly disappeared away from SMG Viper. So SMG Viper has well and truly disappeared away from Fizzy Gaming, excuse me. My brain did not properly click there. Oh, apologies about that. Okay then. Okay, no, I didn't. I thought I saw spots of rain for a minute. Just need to very quickly check something about the stream. Sorry. Okay, that is fixed. There was just a weird noise in my ears, which I have now fixed. There's now Sean on those new tyres on the back of Inferno Trap. This is for 4th place, so Sean still can get a very good result here out of this race. But Inferno Trap will defend this one. Sean is going to look around the outside, try and cut back to the inside, get the better traction. Can he do it? As now DRS will deploy. He hasn't got much ERS, but he has the better tyres. Down the inside he goes. A little bit of contact with Inferno Trap. Nothing wrong with it particularly. And Inferno Trap will have more ERS to play with and will manage to go alongside once again on the inside. And there's contact. And Sean goes round. And will go down to 6th place behind Vagos. And that is probably all he will achieve in this race. 6th place. Most likely. Let's have a look. It won't let me go to his off-board camera for some reason. There we are. Yes, he has damage. The damage did come from Sean. in that one there, but lap 33 and 36, just 3.5 laps to go in this one here. As now, let's have a look at Fizzy Gaming, who is coming back at SMG Vortex, but a little too late in this one here, considering he has 6 seconds of penalties that he has to serve later in this race. As now SMG Vortex also picks up 6 seconds, a 6-second penalty, but Fizzy Gaming is dropping back from SMG Vortex, so as it stands, that second place is very safe for Vortex, as now Sean has caught back up to Vagos. The question is, can he overtake as he heads on to lap 35 or 36? But this man here, SMG Viper, made no mistakes when others did, and has been completely and utterly flawless in this race since, as now Sean does overtake Vagos, but gets a really bad turning circle. Vagos doesn't have a particularly good exit either, so Sean will stay in front just as now here we go. On board with SMG Viper for his final lap, his victory lap, if you will, of the Red Bull Ring. Made no mistakes when others did. And he has been absolutely flawless today. As now, for just one more sector to go. Only one more sector. Final 2 corners, he picks up a 3-second penalty, but it won't matter. He's so far ahead that it doesn't even matter. As now around the final corner, SMG Viper wins here at the Red Bull Ring. It's going to be SMG Vortex in second to make it an SMG at 1-2. Fizzy Gaming comes home in third, and then there'll be a gap back to Inferno Trap in fourth. Fifth will be Vagos. Sixth will be Sean. Oh no, sorry, Sean will go up to fifth on penalties. Vagos sixth. It will be Millwall Tyler in 7th place, followed by Elite Silver in 8th, and then Entok. Entok's AI brought it home in 9th. So 7th for Millwall Tyler, and then Elite Silver in 8th place. And that is the end of the race, ladies and gentlemen. And that is the podium for round 5 at Austria. Well then, one final recap of the order. P1 goes the way of SMG Viper. Second, SMG Vortex for an SMG 1-2. Fizzy Gaming third. Inferno Trap 4th. Sean 5th. Vagos 6th. Millwall Tyler after some bad luck in 7th. Elite Silver 8th. Entox AI brings it home 9th. And then we lost Power to One, who had fastest lap, and Jens in 11th. So that is all from us today. Thank you all very, very much for watching. Join us next week, and we will leave you with our SRC affiliate advert. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.